A very good evening everyone, and yeah, I am back with my next video. And I have been thinking of uploading one, but then I couldn't get time to literally I couldn't get time to devote here. So now I'm back with another video, so I hope I can meet the expectations of you learners. And yeah, in my last video I was telling you guys that to strengthen your understanding of English literature, you need to go back a little. Okay, you need to go back to the early periods of English literature. And English literature, it doesn't only consist of the literature from England. Okay, it consists of literatures from America, it consists of literature from Canada, literatures from France, literatures from India itself, and literature from the Indian subcontinent countries. Okay, so basically it consists of a lot of areas, a lot of literatures, a lot of writings from a lot of countries of the world, right? But then here the focus is English literature, that is the literature basically from England. Okay, and then comes the others. Okay, and then comes the literature of India, the literature of Canada, American literature. Okay, so basically here what happens in my videos, you'll get to see how English literature, it got evolved day by day. Okay, and it is very obvious that a change doesn't take place in one day, right? So eventually and gradually the literature got evolved, the literature got improved, it got reformed, the thematic concerns of all the writings, it got those got evolved, right? So basically, to understand English literature as a whole, you need to go back a little, as I said. Okay, so here to begin with, the roots, actually to begin with the early phases of English literature. Okay, so let me just tell you that this history of English literature or English literature basically is divided into a lot of periods. Okay, so starting from the Old English period. Okay, I'll start from the Old English period and then eventually I'll go forward. Okay, I'll go to Chaucerian age, then eventually the other ages. Okay, and then we'll shift to the other literatures. Okay, like the literature of India and the literature of America, Canada and all. Okay, so basically let's start from the roots. Okay, so English literature, it is basically divided into a lot of ages. Okay, so to begin with, it would be like the Old English period. Okay, so now again Old English period is divided into two phases. Okay, one is Anglo-Saxon age and one is Anglo-Norman age. Understood? So yeah, some people pronounce it as Anglo-Saxon and some pronounce it as Anglo-Saxon. Okay, so let's pronounce it as Anglo-Saxon, as it spells like Saxon. Okay, so basically the Old English period is divided into two phases. Okay, one is Anglo-Saxon period and another is Anglo-Norman period. Understood? So basically what happens in the ancient, in the ancient times, what happens, okay, so to begin with Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, so we need to know that in the ancient period, what happened was that there were three tribes. Okay, and they were known as Angles, Saxons and Jutes. Okay, so if I have to spell them out, so I'll just spell them out once so that it becomes easier for you to grab it. Okay, as a whole. So Angles, like Angles, Saxons, Saxons. Okay, and then Jutes, Jutes. Okay, so those were the three tribes. Okay, they were living in Northern Europe. Okay, so if I may have to specify it, then it would be like these tribes, they belong from some of the German countries. Okay, so these three tribes, what happened was that in 5th century, okay, they came to England. Okay, and then captured that land. Okay, and remember that England was not named as England earlier. Okay, when these people or these tribes, they captured England. Okay, they were like that place or that England, like nowadays we know it as England. Okay, it was earlier, it was just an island. Okay, it was just an island where a few native people used to live. Okay, So when these German countries, okay, these three tribes, okay, they came and captured England. Okay, they basically, after driving this, look, all of these native people into some kind of deep hills, okay, named Wales and Scotland also. Okay, so they basically started settling down in that island. Okay, and they basically started dividing the places, or dividing some specific corners of that island into their own, like by their own. Understood? So what they did was that these angels, okay, they took the eastern part of it, okay, eastern part of the of that island, okay, and they named it East Angels. Understood? And then comes to Saxons, okay, they took the southern part of it, okay, and what they did was that they kind of named some kingdoms, okay, and they were like Sussex, okay, Sussex, Sussex, then Wessex, Wessex, okay, and then Essex, Essex, okay. So these were three kingdoms which were kind of formed by the Saxons, okay, in the eastern part of, sorry, in the southern part of that island, okay. And then coming to Jutes, okay, they took the southeastern part, okay. So ultimately what happened in 7th century, okay, all of these kingdoms came together, okay, like there was this amalgamation and confluence of all of these kingdoms, and then it formed the United Kingdom, which today is known as UK, okay, that is England. Understood? So basically this Anglo-Saxon, okay, because of these three tribes, okay, that period was named as Anglo-Saxon period. Understood? And now, like these three tribes, okay, like with the settlement of these three tribes, English literature actually began to form. Understood? So this Anglo-Saxon period or Anglo-Saxon literature is the foundation of English literature. Understood? So this is why it is very important to know the roots. Understood? It's very interesting. Okay, I'm just telling you like a story. Okay, so I hope that it is easier for you to grab it all. Okay, and I hope that if there is any kind of confusion, you'll just ask me in the comment section. Okay, and then I'll reply and I'll respond. Okay, positively. And okay, so one more thing, this Anglo-Saxon, because of these tribes, okay, the period was called as Anglo-Saxon, okay, number one. Number two, with their settlement, the English literature began, okay, began, okay. So basically the literature, okay, that it has this history, that is Anglo-Saxon history, okay, because Anglo-Saxons, they kind of introduced literature in England. Understood? And that is why they are called as the foundation stones of English literature. Understood? So because with their settlement only, the literature got evolved, and the literature actually got introduced in England. Understood? And this like Anglo-Saxon people, they are called the first Englishmen. Understood? Englishmen, okay, not MAN. So they are called as the first Englishmen. So I hope this much is clear to you. Okay, so Anglo-Saxon period, it had its own characteristic features. Okay, like if I have to give the examples of Anglo-Saxon literature, then the literature of Anglo-Saxon period, okay, they were basically and exclusively, okay, or independently written in verse form, okay, and that too in an oral form. And I hope you understand what I mean by oral form, okay. So the stories used to pass on from generation to generation, and that too using their mouth, or they used to talk to one another. They used to narrate the stories with to one another, okay. So that was the nature of Anglo-Saxon literature, okay. And like the written, okay, the written literatures, okay, basically in the initial phase they used to get a pass on through mouth, like orally they used to pass on from one another, okay, and then ultimately after some years, okay, they used to get their written forms, okay, and that too when they used to get their written forms, those were anonymous, okay, like most of the literatures from Anglo-Saxon period, you'll find them, they're anonymous, okay, like Anonymous, what I mean is that they use like the writers are unknown. Okay, the writers are unknown. We do not know who the writer is. Okay, from the Anglo-Saxon period. I'm talking about Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, so now coming to Anglo-Saxon period. Okay, Anglo-Saxon poetry. Okay, so the poetry of Anglo-Saxon period is divided into two parts. Okay, one was the pagan poetry and another was religious poetry. Okay, so pagan poetry it is basically represented by one of the most earliest, okay, or one of the earliest poems, okay, of English literature, and that is Beowulf. Okay, Beowulf. Okay, Beowulf. Those who are studying English literature, they are well aware of this poem, and those who are intending to study English literature, it is very important to know about it. Okay, or the story of Beowulf. Okay, it is one of the earliest surviving epics of English literature. Okay, so coming to the religious poetry. Okay, the religious poetry were basically written by two of the most famous and two of the most earliest, okay, poets. Okay, and they are Cadmon and Cinewulf. Okay, Caed Cadmon, Cadmon and Cinewulf, Cynewulf. Okay, Cinewulf. So these are the two poets who used to write religious poetry. Okay, now coming to the prose section, I told you that proses were like, you'll find a rare bunch of proses from Anglo-Saxon period, because it was completely or mostly, okay, the literatures were written in poetry form, understood, in verse form. Okay, so it is very obvious that the proses were very less. Okay, but still there were proses. Okay, and one of the popular prose writers was Alfred the Great. Okay, Alfred the Great, and another was Bede, Bede. So these were two of the prose writers. Okay, except these two, you won't find any of the prose writers from Anglo-Saxon period, understood. You'll mostly find the poetries from Anglo-Saxon period, though they were anonymous, like the writers are unknown, but still mostly you'll find poetries from Anglo-Saxon period, understood. So I hope that this much is clear to you, and we'll proceed to the next phases of English literature. Okay, history of English literature basically. So I hope that this much is kind of clear to you. Okay, and one more thing, I'll suggest you two books. Okay, like where you find the detailed explanation of the social, the economic, and the literary history of England or English literature. Okay, so these are like, if you have to know the thorough history of English literature, then I'll suggest a book, and the name of the book is that History of English Literature, and it is by William J. Long, and another is History of English Literature by Edward Albert. Okay, these are the two books that I'd suggest for now, and then afterwards I'll suggest more books. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to me, and thank you, and I hope to meet your expectations, okay, further, and thank you all, and we'll meet soon in my next video. Okay.